you're lighter. I am your host, Samantha Jett, and this is Offensive Healing. Well, this morning's been not a little. Hold on, let me regroup my thoughts. With that being said, because as we're getting off to this little stammering of a what you call it, we're going to smoking a pancake. If you got them, light them. You guys, please, I'll give you, actually, you know what? Let me give you a moment. I'm rushing things. If you got your box full of kind herb, please feel free to roll now. If you already have your pre-roll, let's get that bad boy ready. Don't forget to pack the filter on it, because you know how sometimes them pre-rolls tend to get a little loosey-goosey in the tootsie, okay? You know what I'm saying, If you can notice behind me today, we have guest. This is Tank It the Blanket Dog. He insisted upon joining us today, which is absolutely okay and welcome, because usually he's here with us. You just don't notice him because he's in the background. I've been working with the little studio area. I know you guys can probably tell. I've been working with the studio area. I've been building, if you will, the dwelling for offensive healing and 90s nails and my nice chill spot. So if you guys happen to catch me on the TikTok lives and all the things, you'll recognize this back behind me. I'm going to ramble a little bit longer, no rush, but it would be awesome if you guys had automatic grinders and roller machines at this point, or bowls. Get your fat bowl ready. It's just been a Wednesday, not a bad Wednesday, a pretty good Wednesday. I started my Wednesday off this morning. I don't know if I've said it before, but I had been wanting to implement getting up earlier in my day and like working on that part for a while. And I got it down pretty good, which is good. So I've been kind of keeping up with it, which gives me more time to do kind of the things that I need to be able to do every day in order to make sure my mind is right. Because I have found that if I don't have at least my hour, 30 minutes, minimum 30 minutes to myself in the morning, I don't know how to function. I honestly don't know how other moms out there who don't find or haven't learned how to manage that space for themselves yet, I don't know how they function. They got to be running on fucking burnout all the time, which is a new thing that I've learned. Burnout is a bitch with a capital B's, double B bitch, bitch, burnout bitch. But you know what I'm saying. Um, no, burnout was a real thing for me. I'm very grateful that I stopped putting the shirts on that said I had to do too much from my programming from being raised. So kudos to that. All right, so you guys, if you got them, go ahead. Let's spark them. Let's light them. Let's get them going. Let's get this little circle going. Because I would really enjoy being able to smoke with all of you, like our little mini sessions. That's kind of what these little morning podcasts are becoming for us. Well, morning, afternoon, wherever you choose to be listening, whatever time. What you doing, Tinket? He's being nosy. Much better, much better. So this morning sounded off pretty all right. Woke up, had my morning time. Actually got up and took my shower. Those of you who know, I usually don't shower in the morning. I'm an evening showerer only because I cram a lot already into a morning ritual that, like, sometimes I don't have time. Well, most of the time, 90% of the time, I don't have time to take a shower in the morning. So that's why I try to get mine in at night. Well, I needed to take my shower this morning because I woke up I was sweating my butt off in my sleep. Put it that way. I just woke up feeling all sticky and like. So I was like, all right, let me get up, get my, well, I got up and I went to go throw on. Every morning, I listen to stuff. Okay. I am all for pouring into ourselves and what we listen into and everything like that. What we listen to, what we pour into ourselves kind of dictates the day we're going to have. So, do you wake up and fill yourself up with doubts? Do you wake up and fill yourself up with like affirmations that are just negative, because you might even really be doing it without even noticing that you're doing it. It's like that, oh fuck, in the morning when you wake up and you're just like, ah, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like we woke up again. um or do you wake up searching for, excited to get to whatever it is that is sparking your interest, like in this lately time, in this present time, lately time, what the fuck is that shit? In the present time, like that's where kind of having your hobbies and your and stuff that like lights you up is important. And it might not, even if it's not a hobby, even if it's just teaching yourself something that you didn't know prior, you know what I'm saying? So me, I woke up this morning and I put on, who did I listen to this morning? There's this new chick on YouTube. I always listen to Tarot on Decks in the morning, when her collectives are popping off early enough to where I can catch them first thing. So hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now who I've been actually listening to. This morning, I listened to PK, not PK Pastor Kim. Where is she at? Where's my girl? I think it's Khalees, or hold up, wait a minute, let me put my foot up in it. The prayer room, the house of PK, Pastor Kells. I've been actually not, it's not, I'm not a paid sponsor or anything like that. I just recently kind of stumbled over into her realm over on the Tubes. I've officially gotten off of the Facebook and the Instagrams for my information. Because so I was really big for years and years. I was a Gaia subscriber. I don't know if you're aware of the app or it's like a TV station. It's not a TV station, it's like a streaming station, if you will. Gaia, GAIA, or GAIA, or how did I spell it the first time? Anywho, so I went through everything in there that I wanted to go through and learn and grasp a hold and stuff like that. So I was big into that. Well, recently, I've been kind of diving into, not, I don't want to say rediscovering the Bible, because even though, okay, hold on, let me slow down. Let me drag this a little bit better. Hold on, let me drag this out. So I'm a universe believer, whether you call it universe, whether you call it God, spirit, whatever, however you want to do it. Okay. Whatever word you want to give to it, in my belief, the way I am programmed, it's the same thing. Okay. We all pray to the same God, or gods, or goddesses, you know what I'm saying? But in the same spirit, it's the same spirit. Anywho's. So through my studies and my way of being, I don't want to say I returned back to the Bible, because that's like false statement. I was raised, okay, not predominantly, I was absolutely 100% raised Catholic, Roman Catholic, like real Catholic, okay? And I grew up in a very religious, we're not going to say spiritual, we're going to say religious household, because I would absolutely call it religion versus spirituality, only because I feel it was a little bit too religion, I feel, is like very super structured and fire and hell type shit, whereas I feel spirituality is a little bit more fluid, if you will. So through growing up, I learned a lot of what the Bible says and this, that, and the other, and how you're supposed to live your life. Do I agree with those things? For the most part, absolutely, I do, 100%. All of the things that I was taught growing up in Bible study, Bible class, catechism, whatever you want to call it, all right, bro? I truly believe that those indoctrinants I was brought up with, they played a big part in my life. Even when I was at my lowest, going down and I don't even want to say my lowest, like even when I was at my most destructive, dark path journeying, okay, I still had a lot of morals, if you will. I was brought up a certain way. There's certain things, and a lot of the ways I was taught to do things in life, like a lot of the ways I was taught to do things in life, absolutely was 100% God led. Does that make sense? I might not have always been choosing the path of God, but I always had a morality that was God led or Jesus led, however you want to place that. So I spent a lot of years after I got, man, I tell you guys every time these podcasts are just as much for me as they are for you, because now we got to get into it. Oof, it's taken me almost 2 years to start to crack. I talk about myself, but the parts that I talk about are easier to talk about because they're very gentle. But when it has to get down into like the deep darkness of me or my path, or not even fessing up or admitting to what I have done, it's so much as I've worked very hard to give myself a persona that is not even, I don't I don't even think you guys might even believe some of the things I have done in my life. Okay. Okay. I haven't begun to talk about it. Those are my testimonies and my stories, and I haven't begun to talk about it or put it out there. It's easier for me to talk about my emotions than it is for me to tell you about my past. Not that I'm ashamed. It's just, and not that it was really bad, but it definitely doesn't align with anything that I'm doing. However, it has led me to where I am at, if that makes sense. So, God led. So even after I got out of my angst, because in my 20s, you guys, and the statute of limitations is up now, so I ain't gotta worry about it. In my 20s and in my younger years, I used to make my income in the streets. And I wasn't in the streets like on the corners like some of my past friends, my acquaintances of my past have been. But I used to I used to deal a lot of shish stuff. Okay. I used to I used to make my money off the less unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? I was never a scammer. I always provided a service, and I always provided top quality and things. Okay. We're gonna put it like that. If you know, you know. Your girl was a little bit of a hoodlum. Um, Vegas back then was no one to play with. So, but I was always, even when I was going through that, I had morals. I used to say, I was like, I used to idolize and look up to Frankie Smalls, if that makes anybody comprehend what I'm saying. But I used to have morals. Like there was things I would do and things I wouldn't do. And I never let anybody cross my boundaries. Okay. And then even my customers, if I saw them getting too crazy, because we were all young and being dumb kids at the time, but some of them got a little carried away. Right. So even when I would see them going down their dark spots, I'd cut them off. I wouldn't fuck with them no more until they got their shit together. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I didn't want none of my clientele that was broke or dead, because that didn't benefit me in any way. So eventually I had to pull myself off of that path. And not so much that I was all up in my addiction with that was my money addiction. That's where a lot of it started, from a source of having lack and trying to manage. um I wanted to manage being able to stay home with quick easy money, and I tried it. I did it. Been there, done that. It didn't work because you can't hold on to none of it. That which comes easy to you, you cannot hold on to. Everything in life worth having, you have to work hard for. And as much as anyone wants to say, taking the route that I took in my 20s was absolutely the easy route. It was 10 times easier to sit back, make phone calls, make moves, blah, 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 way this, way that, do this, do that, than it was to do what I'm doing now. That I can honestly tell you, way fucking easier. So when I got off that kind of lifestyle path, like when I made that choice, like, okay, I'm ready to give up that life. And I didn't want to go back to God, you guys, because it was, God didn't make me leave him. Nobody made me leave God, except for the fact that I made me leave the presence of Jesus and God, because I wanted to pursue knowledge. And I didn't think knowledge and religion went hand in hand. I was not one of those people. You know what I'm saying? How can you believe evolution and believe in God at the same time? Like I struggled with that. So true to myself form, I went out and I learned as much as I possibly humanly could about everything other than, okay? And every path I went down, and it's not that I was trying to dispel God or anything like that. That was never the case. It was, I wanted to prove that it was more than just what I, 1:06 p.m. Not now. Oh, sorry, you guys. I had a thing pop up on my computer. Sorry, that was rude. But anyway, let's light this up. Let's light this up. Light this up. So it's not that I was trying to dispel God, but the way I was brought up with believing in God was, it was magic without being magic, mystical without being mystic, great without being great. Like, it was just, it felt very hollow the way I was brought up with believing in it and believing in God. It felt very make believe. Like, you want me to believe in this made up thing, but yet I'm not allowed to believe in fairies? Like, what the fuck? That was not that, like, that didn't it I, as a kid, the way I was being taught, could not differentiate the two. And I was like, imagination's imagination. And if we're being imaginatory towards God and Jesus, then why can't we do other things? I didn't understand. So I had to teach myself what I was indoctrinated into as a child. And I had to be able to put it into terms that it makes sense. And it does. It makes sense, because here's the thing, you guys. Everything I learned through my spirituality, through my journeys down, from teaching myself about the seven sisters, from learning all I could about the Greek gods, Greek philosophy, everything I could learn, from ancient Egypt, like everything, Mesopotamia, everything. Like, there is not one era, there's not one um culture, there's not one anything that I haven't learned, like, taught myself about, and wanted to understand what their magic was, what their belief was, what their, way of life was. And no matter what I went out there and found, it was all the same. So then when I started realizing that everything I taught myself, then was teaching myself, and was learning, even down to quantum physics, it all makes sense still within the Bible, if you understand quantum physics, because that's a whole nother level we're not going to go on right now, because that'll take me down a tangent, which I'm not going. Any boohoo. Um, Everything that I had learned in its own way was all saying the same exact thing. So then that's what got me thinking, as of recently, is was going back into the Bible and trying to relearn it. To be honest with you, listen to me. What sparked my little hamster wheel to go, like, okay, like, we're rolling this way, now we're gonna roll this way and check this out. So I was scrolling, and there was this lady. She was on, I think it was Facebook. I think it was Facebook when I first saw her. And she's a preacher, and she was giving her sermon. And her sermon, it was a morning Bible study. I might as well go ahead and say it. I would real talk Kim. She's a Preacher Kim. She's from Limitless Church in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, or Fayetteville, Georgia. Excuse me. Anywho, I had stumbled upon her Bible study, morning prayer call, if you will. And I noticed she was giving assignments to her understudies, if you will, that we're watching. And the way she was breaking it down, she was breaking down each passage. I think when I first jumped on with her, she was in the middle of Proverbs. So I went ahead and I was like, the way she was breaking it down, it made a lot of sense to me. And because she was a businesswoman first and foremost, it sparked my attention, because you guys know that I appreciate real life. I appreciate realness. I appreciate struggle. I appreciate anybody that lets themselves be vulnerable enough so I can connect with you. And so that way I can realize that you're also a human and not some holier than thou. Okay. Because I don't respond to the holier than thou. Been there, done that with that shit growing up. And it was never a fit. That's why I didn't understand why you couldn't believe in God and fairies at the same time, as if they were in the same, you know what I mean? Like, it was the same thing. So, anywho's, So I really was digging how she was breaking it down. So then I was like, all right, I understand. This makes a lot of sense, because to be honest, what she was describing and how she was saying it and like what we were learning was exactly what I had learned when I did my own studies in a different, it totally did, what had nothing to do with the Bible. It was my own studies just on karmic balance and shit. Okay. So the fact that what she was breaking down was saying the same thing as what my philosophy books have already been saying. So it finally clicked and I was able to marry the two. And so then she was like pointing out the different, when I walked away from the Catholic Church, okay, I literally walked away and left the Bible, left everything, and didn't really go back because I was pooey to it. I didn't have time to understand. Well, now hindsight is I didn't have the knowledge to be able to understand what the fuck was being said. So now that I have more knowledge under my belt, just from life experience and just living, things are starting to make more sense to me. Then now also being able to connect what I'm seeing, hearing, thinking, feeling with what I'm reading is even better. So getting reintroduced to the Bible and their stories and the lessons in it was a really amazing eye opener, because again, it just clarified to me and reassured me that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, because at the end of the day, if how I've been living my life up until now was in the way of God, I don't even say up until now, because that's like, it sounds like I stopped. But like the way, even in my darkest days, I've still been moving in the way of God according to the Bible. So I must not be off my rocker that fucking much if that's the case. So that was like a little pat on my back, like, okay, keep going. So now, because we've learned everything else like that, now we're going to go back and we're going to re-listen and relearn the Bible. Um, and rediscover there are many, many, many avenues of understanding out here, tools at our fingertips, like tools to understand shit at our fingertips. Like I always tell you, if you don't know something, you can go teach yourself. You need to go teach yourself, because that's important. We have to grow, we have to evolve. And sometimes evolving means going back to try to understand understand things that we once couldn't, and being okay with admitting to ourselves that it wasn't stupid, we just didn't understand it. Okay. So recently, if you guys haven't, and you're looking for a way to kind of get back into the Bible and get back into that sort of uplifting, there's a lot of really awesome resources. What brought me into mine was Pastor Kim with Real Talk Kim Limitless Church. I do belong to Limitless Church online. I do enjoy the teachings. Do I go other sources and places to get my teachings as well? Yes, I do. I'm not just stuck with one, but I have to stick with the one that brought me back around until something else comes along. I don't want to say like I'm sitting here waiting for another church or something to come along. That's not what I mean. You're going to find that in the journey, as you start to teach yourself new things, go down new avenues, learn new stuff, you're not always going to 100% agree with one person's teachings, with one person's way of life. And I actually had to call my friend about it, be like, hey, wait a minute. I have this issue. It's not even an issue. I don't align and I don't agree with what I'm being fed here in this sermon, in this chapter of my church. What do I do? Is it okay to go off and venture off and like, figure stuff out for myself again, because that's my learning path? And she absolutely assured me that it was. And you're right. It is. It's not that I'm trying to make one better than the other, because they're not. You just need to be fed. And that's why she's like, you're just not receiving the message that you need to be fed at that moment in time. And that's okay too. So knowing how to use your tools and have resources out there at your grasp in order to be able to keep yourself being fed with what you want. Because one thing I did find, because I ended up joining groups and stuff like that with other like-minded people that were going down the journey I was with Pastor Kim, but I had ended up pulling myself back because a lot of what I was being fed wasn't for my journey. However, with that being said, okay, if you're looking for somewhere to start and you don't know where to start and you feel very alone and very lost, and you need a good girlfriend, and you want somebody that's kind of like-minded like myself, with the energy level, with the no holds bar, like we ain't sugarcoating shit around here, go check out Pastor Kim, Real Talk Kim. You will enjoy her, you will love her, or you will hate to love her, or you will love to hate her. It'll be one of those things, and she'll tell you that too. I do 10 out of 10 recommend her for men, women, but like if you need a best friend, if you need a friend and somebody that you can rely on and count on every morning, every day, every time, please go and check that out. The support group that they have for women in need of support like that is phenomenal. And I do recommend her. And I'm not paid to say that by any means. No, I won't be in there. You guys won't find me over there other than praising on Sundays and in my Bible study in the mornings. But you will find a group of women in there that are all on the same path you are and building themselves up. Absolutely, you will. So that's kind of that kind of dropped in my little butt to say to y'all, because I don't want to sit here and ever seem like I'm a hypocrite, and that's kind of one of the one things that's always been made me a little bit leery about talking about this. And I kind of wanted to just talk today about whatever dropped into my spirit, was because I didn't want anybody to think I was being a hypocrite, or like, oh, I thought she was into universe and messages and signs. I very much am. I just believe there's there, it blends. It's all the same thing. It's just now I'm learning the terms in God. I've learned the terms in universe, spirit, and spirituality. Now I want to learn the text, because it's just too much of a coincidence. And once I get through this, you guys, I absolutely will 100% be diving into this with you, because am I learning the Bible? Yeah. I started on New Living Translation Bible. I 365-day course. So I have to. I can't, for the sake of the science, I have to know. So with that being said, let's light this doobie. Why do I feel like I just had confession with you guys and I told you that I was reading the Bible? I'm so scared. I'm not scared, but I'm not scared in that sense, because like I've said, those of you who are like me and I'm like you, we will find each other. And I'm doing this just as much for myself as I am for you, because I am not the only motherless child out here learning how to become a woman, a mom, a wife, a people, a person, a sustainable life force, if you will. I know I'm not the only one. We're not alone. And that's wonderful to know. So with that being said, you guys, go do something really, really wonderful for yourself, because I love you and you're worth it. Peace, love, and chicken grease.